presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
Got a great night of baseball on tap. Perfect Saturday night to tailgate. We have the early start on a Saturday night. The Pirates and the Brewers set to battle inside Miller Park here this evening. The fifth game of 2015. The Brewers still looking for win number 1. We'll see if number 5 is lucky for Milwaukee here tonight. Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Deshawn alongside Davey Nelson. Welcome back as our coverage of Brewers baseball continues on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Well, all aspects of the game haven't meshed up just yet for this team, but Chris Davis, one of those, doing his part to keep this ball club going together. And if the others join in and we can get this thing going, it'll easily start winning again starting tonight.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, And it's like you say, doing your part and try not to do much else, So Chris Davis, normally a pull hitter. He tries to pull the ball a lot. This year we're watching him hit the ball the other way. Very patient at the plate, driving the ball hard the other way. Now, when balls are inside, he will turn on it. But Chris Davis, as a major league hitter, is becoming more and more mature.
And he'll need a big bat to help Big Jim out. Jimmy Nelson's first start of 2015 coming up, Rockin' VA. Have that next.
Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers. It's Miller time. Opening week has hit the weekend here in Milwaukee, and it's the Brewers and the Pirates, division rivals, matching up. Game 2 of this 3-game series in the opening homestand will wrap up tomorrow afternoon. The Brewers are still looking for win number 1, and they'll give the ball to Jimmy Nelson, making his first start of the year. It's his first ever April start in the major leagues. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us. Well, the Brewers are still trying to get win number 1. They are the last team in baseball to have not won a game at this point, and they're going to give the ball to a guy they hope can emerge as one of the aces of the staff eventually.
Well, what he has to do is take a deep breath. I mean, that's the one thing Jimmy Nelson has not been able to do is relax at the big league level. He did it last year. First half down in the minor leagues, he was lights out. He pitched free and easy. That slider electric. The Brewers are hoping he's got that pitch back. He really didn't have it last year at the major league level. The big fastball, get ahead in the count, elevate that fastball. He was working on the curveball. That pitch looked pretty good in spring training. We'll see how much he wants to use that tonight.
Well, Jimmy Nelson, last season when he came up to the big leagues, his first 7 games were pretty good. He had an earned run average sub-4. His last 7, I think the piano jumped on his back and he struggled, and he started feeling a lot of that burden as the team was struggling as well. But remember, Jimmy Nelson last year was the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Year. He's hoping to translate that to the big leagues. Brewers, Pirates, lineups, first pitch coming up next. There he is, big Jim Nelson, 26-year-old power right-hander, leads the Brewers out onto the field on a beautiful Saturday night for baseball here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And Brewers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Clint Hurdle and the Pittsburgh Pirates, day 2 of this 3-game series. The Pirates got swept in their opening series of the year against the Cincinnati Reds before winning last night. Hurdle has taken the Buccos to the postseason each of the last 2 years as a wild card team. And this is Hurdle's lineup tonight. He is without 3 of his starters. Noticeably absent is Andrew McCutchen, who is battling a left knee injury. This lineup brought to you by Potawatomi, with Harrison, Cervelli, and Walker at the top. Marte, Alvarez, Corey Hart, the former Brewer, in the lineup tonight for Pittsburgh. And it's Andrew Lambeau. Jung Ho Gung will hit 8th and play short. And Vance Worley will bat 9th. And that's the lineup, Rock, that will face Jimmy Nelson.
No, Jimmy making his first start of the year. It's been a while since his last time out on the mound. It was April 4th, the last game in spring training. Got roughed up down in Arizona. But hopefully his outing here today, much better. He's got to learn to relax a little bit out there on the mound. Sometimes he presses a little bit too much. And we'll see how he works it out here tonight. And you take a look at the Brewers, Menard's defense. Davis, Gomez, Braun in the outfield. You got Ramirez, Segura, Hector Gomez at second base. Scooter Gennett sits this one out. You got Linden first. Jonathan Lucroy behind home plate.
Hector Gomez, his first career start at second base. Dana DeMute, the crew chief, will call the balls and strikes. Basner, Nart, and Easterbrook are the base umpires, and all the pieces in place. We're ready for baseball on a Saturday night. Great to have you with us this evening. Josh Harrison leads off, swinging away at the first pitch, and away we go. Harrison had a tough night last night. He was 0 for 3 strikeouts. He did walk once, and out to a sluggish start this season, just 3 for 15 at the plate after signing a 4-year contract extension recently.
Yeah, he won't be sneaking up on anybody this year. He was kind of a surprise star last year, made the All-Star team, got off to a terrific start, ended up winning the job at third base. People are gunning for him this year. Going to be pitching a little bit differently to him.
Value the defense, value a pesky hitter who can get on base and has been clutch in his brief career in the major leagues. Harrison is the nephew of Brewers coach John Shelby. And Nelson strikes him out. Boy, that was a good looking breaking ball there.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that's the pitch that he needs. That slider. It's a good one. Actually, that's a curveball, that knuckle curve. The spike curve, and down in the strike zone with 2 strikes. That's exactly where you want it. There's a good look at that spike curveball in that replay.
That is a new pitch for Jimmy Nelson. That's the same pitch, at least grip wise, that Adam Wainwright throws. There are others, but Wainwright has probably used it as effectively as anyone. That spike curveball, and Nelson said he picked it up right away. It's not an easy pitch to command. And his spring training numbers, Rock, were not good at all, but I think a lot of it had to do with Jimmy really forcing the issue to try to get comfortable with that curveball.
Yeah, he threw it a lot. It looked like a pretty good pitch. And, a lot of the numbers that, he did allow were, maybe throwing too many strikes. He was really throwing a lot of strikes in spring training, really when he didn't have to. A lot of 0-2, 1-2 count base hits, and we'll see how that changes in the regular season.
Now with 3 starters out of the lineup, Cervelli, who is beginning the season as their starting catcher, is elevated to second in the batting order tonight for the Pirates. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is inside, 2-1.
Yeah, Jimmy's got that power sinker, 93 to 95 miles an hour. Got good movement on it so far in the first inning.
He has accomplished all he can accomplish at the minor league level. Jimmy Nelson, the minor league pitcher of the year last year. And even though he was only around for a little over a half a season in the minor leagues, he still was the Pacific Coast League pitcher of the year.
Yeah, 10-2 with a 146 earned run average. That'll win you an award or 2. He's got to learn to relax at the major league level like he did down in the minor leagues.
Now those who have seen Nelson at the AAA level dominate say he's been a little different picture in the major leagues. He's been a guy that is pressing a little bit instead of being free and easy, but they're hoping that the confidence builds and Nelson can emerge as a top of the rotation type pitcher. He certainly has the stuff to be that guy. 3-2 pitch on the ground. Here's Segura, long throw and safe on an infield hit. Good try by Segura, but Cervelli beats it down the line for an infield single with 1 away.
Runs pretty good for a catcher, doesn't he? Well, he gave him a fastball. He was able to get it by Ramirez, and once it got by Rami, very tough play for Segura, although he made it close.
Gives you an idea of the range of Gene Segura. What a player he's been. Hoping to get his bat back this season. Segura, after an all-star campaign 2 years ago, always gives you great defense. So a man on for Neil Walker, switch hitting second baseman. Elevated into the 3 spot in the order, and when McCutchen doesn't play, it's typically Walker who bats third. That's a prime spot in a major league batting order. Walker had 3 hits yesterday, 2 doubles. Now has 3 doubles for the season. 3 of his 5 hits this year have been 2-baggers. Nelson gets ahead of him 0-2.
Yeah, switch hitter has most of his power hitting as a left-handed hitter. It's for a decent batting average from both sides.
When Nelson is right, he gets a lot of ground balls with that power sinker that he throws.
And this is where he has to, not be so worried about throwing strikes in this count. 0-2. This is where he got hurt a lot in spring training. You throw the curveball, you bounce it, you elevate the fastball out of the zone.
Oh, a big swing and a miss. Nelson, that's his new pitch. Picks up a second strikeout this inning.
And both of them coming on the curveball. There you see it, the index fingernail digging into the baseball. Look at the way that pitch goes right down in the strike zone, goes straight down, and that's a nice breaking pitch. I mean, if he's able to throw that consistently like that with 2 strikes, he's going to have a lot of success.
And it's not just the break on the ball, it's the change of pace too. It's much slower velocity than his mid-90s fastball. So it gets hitters out in front and it plants that seed right in the mind for later. This will be fun. Runner takes off. Lucroy's throw to second on the bag. The tag out. One catcher cuts down another trying to steal the base. Makes it a 3-batter inning for Jimmy Nelson. Lucroy is throwing it well to start the season. Brewers are coming up. An infield hit, and we head to the bottom of the first. Ron Renicky, 5th year as the Brewers manager. He and Clint Hurdle came into the National League here with their respective teams the same season prior to the 2011 season. Renicky's batting order is brought to you by Potawatomi. It's Gomez to lead off, Lucroy, then Braun. Adam Lind and Aramis Ramirez flip-flop tonight. Lind hits cleanup. Ramirez bats 5th with Davis in the 6th hole, and then it is Segura, Hector Gomez, and Jimmy Nelson rounding it out. Right-hander Vance Worley, the Vanimal, was his nickname in Philadelphia.
Yeah, 2nd year with the Pirates. A good season for him a year ago, 8-4 with a 285 earned run average, 18 games, 17 starts. He's 1-3 career against the Brewers in 5 starts. A spot starter. He's in the starting rotation because Charlie Morton was placed on a disabled list last week.
Yeah, Charlie Morton had a hip surgery. They were hoping he'd be back by opening day, so it ended up being Worley and Locke battling for that 5th spot in the rotation. They both are in the rotation. Locke was the winner last night. Carlos Gomez will lead off. And Worley's first offering is swung on, lifted high in the air to right. Almost in his tracks, the former Brewer, Corey Hart.
Yep, and the Menards Pirates defense. Pirates are hoping for an improved defense. Last in the National League in defense. Lambeau, Marte, and Hart. Harrison, Gung, Walker, and Alvarez from third to first. Cervelli back behind home plate once again tonight. Hanging the signs for Vance Worley. There's Corey.
First time he's played at Miller Park as an opponent. He was with the Mariners last year. No matchups against the Brewers at Miller Park. So this is the first time in road grays he's been out there. He played that position very well for Milwaukee for many years. 10 years in the big leagues with the Brewers after being drafted in 2000. Lucroy takes strike one from Worley. Lucroy finally got off the schneid yesterday, had his first hit of the season, which was a triple. Lucroy was 1 for 4. The Brewers lost yesterday 6-2. Pirates had a 3-run second inning on Mike Fiers. Fiers suffered the loss, giving up 5 runs in 5 innings. Brewers got some pretty good work out of their bullpen. Thornburg, Jeffress, Kotz, Blazek all pitched. All 3 other than Kotz went scoreless frames.
And the Brewers need to get some runs on the board early, take a little bit of the pressure off of Jimmy Nelson. Brewers have only had 1 lead so far this year. Got to turn that around tonight.
No balls, 2 strikes on Lucroy. Worley throws a lot of breaking stuff. He's the kind of guy when you depends on who you talk to, hitting coaches you talk to, or batters, or if you go online and check some of the statistical data. I mean, he's got like 6 or 7 pitches.
Yeah. And he's basically going to be fastball, cutter. He'll throw a curveball. He throws that knuckle curve and throws a lot of strikes. He doesn't walk many and works quickly. Not overpowering at all.
He's 28 years of age. He had a very good game, one of the best of his career against the Brewers last year in September. He went 8 shutout innings against Milwaukee. Made 2 starts against the Brewers last season. And he was a big part of the Pirates' surge in the second half. His last 5 starts of the year for Pittsburgh, they won all 5 games. He won 3 of those 5 and had an ERA of 2.08. 3-0, 2.08 ERA in his last 5 games started of the season in 2014. Lucroy grounds one to Harrison. And that'll be out number 2.
You got to figure he did a lot of his work early in his career in Philly. Talking about a home run hitter's ballpark. Pittsburgh, a lot more friendly for a pitcher. I mean, you really have to knock one out of here, to get him out in Pittsburgh. Best season for Worley was back in 2011. He was 11-3. 11-3 with a 3.01 earned run average.
And that was the year Worley actually got some Rookie of the Year votes. He finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year category that year. Craig Kimbrell won the award. Ryan Braun with 2 outs. I talked to Braun at the batting cage earlier today, and a couple of interesting thoughts from the Brewers' 3-hole hitter. He said, he feels very fortunate that he avoided disaster with that right side injury. He thought when he left the game on opening day that was going to turn into maybe 2 weeks to a month on the disabled list, because he had an oblique injury in the past. He's dealt with it throughout his career, even going back into his high school days, he said. And he said he was very pleased with how his body healed and that it was not more serious than it was.
Yeah,
so that's a check off that box.
Yeah, the Brewers agree, right? You got to have Braun in the lineup.
And then he talked a little bit about his swing and his timing. He was swinging the bat really well this spring after starting spring training play. 0 for his first 13. He really started to pick it up the last couple of weeks, looking like his old self, like hitting the ball into the far reaches of Maryvale. He said he just missed one last night on the bat, a deep drive into center field, and he was encouraged that he could hit the ball that far and not hit it on the barrel. Yeah. So he likes his swing right now.
Yeah, got it down on the handle just a little bit. Just missed the sweet spot, but did hit it pretty well.
That's a strike on the corner. 3-2 to Braun.
Nothing straight out of the hand of Worley, really. I mean, he's going to sink it. He's going to cut it. He'll throw the slider, the knuckle curve. Every so often, he'll throw a changeup. A control pitcher.
Payoff pitch coming, and Braun strikes out. Put a wrinkle on that one, and Worley a 1-2-3 inning with a K. And Pirates, time now for our T-Mobile game changer. Rock, did you catch this one last night? Yankees, Red Sox played a 19-inning ball game last night. This was how it ended, a sacrifice fly. Well, not how it ended, but how the Red Sox took the lead for good and then hung on to win the game. The game lasted 6 hours and 49 minutes. It did not end until 2:13 Eastern. And then they had a day game today that the Red Sox also won. Started at 1:08, so an 11-hour turnaround. Bravo to our buddies Bob Costas and John Smoltz. They called that game
Gamers
on MLB Network, and all the other folks who were involved working that game.
The Yankee Red Sox games always take a little bit longer than most games, but that's kind of stretching a little bit. We've all done 19-inning games, haven't we?
What's the longest game you've ever been a part of?
Well, the 25-inning game that I was playing. In 1985, I think it was, 84.
And you caught 12 innings out of it?
12 of those. That was that White Sox game. Yep, took 2 days. Wow. They had curfews back then.
Well, that was quite the ball game. Red Sox ended up winning that one as Nelson faces Starling Marte to start it off. Marte to be followed by Pedro Alvarez and then Corey Hart. Nelson, a good first inning. Threw some excellent curveballs in that first inning. Had a couple of Ks.
And the thing you like about the curveball, he's able to throw it with 2 strikes and put it exactly where he wanted it, down in the zone, which means got to be relaxed out there, not overthrowing, because when you overthrow curveballs, you hang them. Those were 2 outstanding hooks to get Harrison and Walker.
Well, when he digs in that index finger, it really gives him a ton of spin. He's a big guy anyway at 6'6". Well, fastball right in on the hands of Marte.
Yeah, right where Lucroy wanted it.
It's pretty simple for Jimmy Nelson. He has the size. He's an intimidating presence on top of the bump. He has the stuff. If he can have that third pitch, and then if he can put the consistency together to command all of his pitches, he's got a chance to be great. Not just good, but great.
Yep, he does. Well, what comes first, chicken or the egg, right? Success or being relaxed and confident, or because you can't have success without being those two things. So it's kind of one of those things that Jimmy's battling with right now. Willie went through it.
And the Brewers have high hopes for the Nelson-Peralta combo, ultimately at the top of the rotation. There's a swing and a miss. Jimmy Nelson with 3 Ks already to the first 4 batters faced.
Yeah, that was 88 miles an hour, more the slider than the curveball that time. You can see the grip, not digging that index finger in the baseball, and well located with 2 strikes. Down and away out of the zone. So those were the pitches he was hanging with 2 strikes in spring training, throwing too many strikes, and they were getting hit.
1 gone for Pedro Alvarez, who homered last night. He has homered in consecutive games for the Pirates. His first 2 home runs of the year. Pirates lost all 3 games in Cincinnati to start the season. They were walked off twice, and the Reds scored in their final at bat to win the game in each of the 3 games, and 2 of those ended as walk-offs. Tough road to get here for Pittsburgh as well. They had over 4 hours of rain delays in that 3-game series against Cincinnati, and then as they tried to get from Cincinnati to Milwaukee, which is just a 45-minute flight, they had to get rerouted and fly into Chicago.
Yeah, remember that those storms that we had here on Thursday? Wind blowing.
That short flight turned into a short flight to Chicago, and then an hour-and-a-half to 2-hour bus ride from Chicago to Milwaukee. No worries for Clint Hurdle. They're fresh coming out of spring training.
Ready to go. Had a good night's sleep last night.
Hurdle has 3 of his starters out of the lineup tonight. I think a lot of managers will tell you it's the second day. You've always said that too.
Yeah.
It's the second day after a tough travel sequence like that that sometimes can get you.
Yeah, you feel the adrenaline. I mean, you kind of feel like you're up against it. You've had some bad luck. You get to the ballpark, you kind of feel energized, and then that second day you kind of find yourself dragging a bit.
Now the Brewers certainly aren't hitting the panic button by any stretch. Only 4 games in, but there was a little urgency in Ron Renick's voice. He knows the Pirates are beat up a little bit with their travel and the way they've started the year. The Brewers have not played well, but you start segmenting the season into series and 10-game windows, and the Brewers know it's go time right now. Still have a chance to win the series and take a series from a division rival, but you have to win tonight to do it.
Yeah, Doug Melvin talks about that all the time. The last 10 games, you always want to avoid those 3-7, 2-8 stretches.
3-2 pitch on the ground. That will stay fair for Adam Lind, and Alvarez is out. Good comeback there for Nelson, who fell behind him. 2 up, 2 down in the second.
Yeah, fell behind on a couple of curveballs early in the count, 2-0, then 3-1. But he's got terrific movement on his fastball. Doesn't even have to try and hit the corners too much.
Well, nice hand for Corey Hart, introduced for the first time here tonight. One of the Brewers' homegrown talents. He was in that first wave of minor league players to come up. His career with the Brewers, a .276 hitter, hit 950 home runs. He's currently 6th in franchise history in triples as he bounces to third base. Hart is retired, and Jimmy Nelson with a couple of donuts on the board to start this one.
Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Scoreless here at Miller Park as the Milwaukee Brewers come up to bat. Ron Renneke making a change at the cleanup spot, and that change came from his normal cleanup hitter, Aramis Ramirez. Renneke has a group of veterans that he meets with, and he said Ramirez came to him and said, "You can move me wherever you want in the lineup." He said, "Bottom line, I want to win and give you the freedom to put the best lineup out there." So Ramirez saying he was willing to move from that cleanup spot, off to a slow start, 3 for 16. And Ron Renneke said it's pretty unusual for a veteran player like Ramirez to initiate that kind of conversation, but said it does free me up to make those changes. So Lind, leading the team with 8 hits, moves into that 4th spot.
All right, Sophia, thanks. The Tribal Council, as they call it, with the leadership of the Brewers players.
Well, that's the kind of guy Aramis Ramirez is. He's always been that way with Ron Renneke since he first came over with the Brewers. He's played a long time, and he's looking to do something special this year.
Well, Adam Lind has hit in all 4 games. Has a home run, the lone home run of the season. 8 hits already, which matches a Brewers record in his first 4 games as a Brewer, as Lind sends that one deep and foul. Now, Adam Lind has matched these players. Paul Molitor in 78 hits the first 4 games, had 8 hits. Damian Miller back in 05, and then put Adam Lind on that list as well. So first 4 games as a Brewer, 8 hits. Those 3, and there's number 9 in his first 5 games.
He's just so relaxed up there at the plate. I mean, that's the one way you can describe Adam Lind. Doesn't panic. Got a beautiful swing. Keeps that bat in the hitting zone a long time. Worley gives him a high fastball. That's a mistake, and Lind able to take advantage of it and bangs it back into center field. He had to shift on, but he beat it.
Lind is aboard for Aramis Ramirez. I know Renneke appreciates the communication. He talks to his players every day in batting practice. As Ramirez on the first pitch into center field. That ball's well hit, and it is over the head of Marte. Lind around second, on his way to third. Ramirez into second with a double. So the lineup switch works. Back-to-back hits from the 4-5 hitters.
And doing what he does best, picking on the first pitch. So back-to-back fastballs from Worley, and both of them resulting in base hits. Marte just comes up short. Well, you wonder with McCutchen out there playing a lot deeper than Marte does, whether he would have caught that baseball or not. Marte does not play as deep typically as Andrew McCutchen.
Marte is a very talented center fielder. There are many in Pirates camp who feel he is the equal defensively of McCutchen, maybe even better. He has a stronger throwing arm, and he does play a lot shallower out there. McCutchen sits this one out, left knee soreness. Brewers have it cooking here in the second and third. Chris Davis takes one in the dirt. Nice play back there by Cervelli.
And another guy that's swinging the bat well for the Brewers. All 5 of his hits this year have come to the opposite field for Chris Davis. He's staying on the baseball and driving it the other way. Got a nice hole between first and second.
Davis with 2 doubles yesterday, his first 2 doubles of the season. On the ground, right side, that'll get the job done. A run scores. The Brewers hit the pay station in the second inning on an RBI ground out from Chris Davis.
On cue, hits it the other way. I mean, unless you get a base hit, you couldn't do any better than that. Not only do you drive in the run, but you're able to move Ramirez to third base with less than 2 outs. So the Brewers do what they needed to do, get on the board early tonight.
And it was started by Adam Lind, who continues to swing a hot bat. So now the Pirates bring their infield in with Gene Segura at the plate. That's what you're talking about, partner. Put the pressure on the Pirates. Get ahead early. Force them to do some things defensively that they don't like to do. bring the infield in, opens up some holes out there for the speedy Segura. Puts the pitcher on the defensive as well.
And just as importantly, you take a little bit of the pressure off Jimmy Nelson. Put up a couple of runs early, give him confidence in knowing that if he gives up a couple of runs, it might not cost him the game.
Ramirez does not run well at third base. Segura would have to hit one through the infield. No Scooter Gennett in the lineup tonight for the Brewers. He gets a day off. Hector Gomez will follow. And a strike on a 3-0 pitch. Close one.
Yep, right at the bottom of the zone. Dana DeMute, the home plate umpire, ringing it up. Segura thought it was low. Looked low. Fox Tracks had it right on the edge.
That's the same system the umpires are graded on, by the way. Same strike zone system. Hitters count. 3-2 it goes. It's one thing about Worley. It doesn't really matter the count. He's comfortable with his breaking stuff, especially when he's right, like he was against the Brewers last September. He'll throw whatever, whenever. Keeps you on your toes a little bit. Fastball ate him up.
And I guess the only question with Worley tonight, how long is he going to be able to go? He hasn't really pitched all that much, or hasn't pitched too deep in games since, what is it, 26th of March in spring training. He's pitched a couple of times after that, but it didn't go too long.
Yeah, that was a 6-inning outing against Atlanta in Florida in spring training. Inside, ball 4. So Segura draws a walk. Good at bat. Saw a lot of pitches. And the inning continues here. First and third with one out. After that 6-inning game against Atlanta, Worley went 3 innings against the Tigers, and then just 1 inning in his last spring training tune-up. April 4th.
So yeah, you wonder if he's going to tire early tonight.
Worley worked a 1-2-3 first inning with a strikeout. He has given up 2 hits and a walk here in the second. And the Brewers are on the board. And here is Hector Gomez, making his first career start in the big leagues at second base. Such a big spot. It's early. We're only in the second inning, but the Brewers have struggled offensively to start the year. There's 1 out in the inning. You've got the 8th place hitter in Gomez. The pitcher is next.
And they got to figure somehow to get that run in. Hector Gomez with pretty good speed. So it's going to be difficult to turn a double play unless it's a bullet right at somebody. Got to put it in play, though.
Segura with great speed at first, and that one's hammered left field, and that is going to be off the base of the wall. Ramirez is in. Here comes Segura. They botched the throw. Segura's in.
Well, did you see the jump Segura got? He knew right away that ball was over the head of Lambo, and he was rounding second base by the time Lambo picked it up. There's a cut fastball. Look at the way he drops the head on it. A line drive over the left fielder's head. And Gene Segura is on his horse right away and scores easily. That's a good job by Eddie Cedar at third base, sending him, knowing that the pitcher's coming up. He sends him, and Gene's able to score standing up.
Pirates mishandled the cutoff and relay there. Hector Gomez with a 2 RBI double. 3-0 Milwaukee here in the second inning. Nelson up there to try to bunt him to third. Boy, what a lift that is. Gomez getting his first start. Scooter Gennett had a tough night last night, frustrating night, got ejected. And Renicky decided to sit him tonight, giving Gomez his first opportunity, and he cashes in quickly.
Man, that was a rope. That's a big kid out there at second base. I mean, you don't realize how big he is until you go down there and you stand next to him. 6'3".
Got two tall second basemen in this game. He and Neil Walker. Walker also 6'3". Well, Jimmy Nelson not known for his offense, but he did have a couple of hits late in the season. I recall last season.
His first ever in pro ball, right?
I feel like he had hits in 3 consecutive games, right?
That I don't remember.
That's a drop back foot, trying to slap one to right field. Little back foot drop, late swing, slice.
But I do know he never had a hit in professional baseball until that base hit he got last year in the big leagues.
That's right. You're right. All through the minor leagues, he never had a hit. They don't start hitting until Double-A. And down he goes. Nelson takes a call at strike 3 for the second out. Segura flying around the bags. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game.
And he knew right away. He was at full speed as soon as that ball left the bat. Ed Cedar very aggressive, waving him around. They messed up the relay, and run number 3 crosses home plate for Milwaukee.
Segura can fly. Great base runner as well. 2 outs. Here is Carlos Gomez.
Already is seen with the different alignment in the outfield for the Pirates how it's affected them already. You figure that with McCutchen in the game, who plays very deep, probably would have caught Ramirez's ball, and Marte might have caught that line drive.
Yeah, good point.
That Hector Gomez hit.
No Polanco, no McCutchen in the Pirates outfield tonight. Hector at second, Carlos at the plate. No relation. Carlos has 2 RBIs for the season. Hits that one a mile, but foul. One and 2 the count on Carlos. Gomez had an RBI that tied the game on Wednesday against Colorado. Had a base hit to right in the 9th inning. Clutch hit and RBI. Trying to cash one in here. 1-2 misses outside. 2-2 to Carlos. He swung at the first pitch his first time up. He flew out to right field. 25 pitch inning for Worley. Here's number 26 of the frame. And it's hit hard, but right at Gung, the shortstop, and that will retire the side. Brewers get jump started. Adam Lind, his 9th hit as a Brewer. Ramirez followed with a double, and then Hector Gomez. 2 RBIs and a double, and the Brewers put 3 on the board. out in left field. He is in our Worth Another Look, presented by Columbia St. Mary's, and it has been his defense that has been impressive, Rock, in the early going.
Yeah, that was Wednesday against the Rockies, crashing up against the wall. Able to hold on, saving a couple of runs for Willie Peralta. And then last night coming in, so he can go back, coming in, making this catch. So Chris Davis is having a pretty good start to his season, swinging the bat pretty well and playing some solid defense.
Said he wanted to be a better defensive player this year. He's always been a guy that could make catches, run down balls, takes good routes. He doesn't throw all that well. Takes his defense very seriously, though, and it's showing up early, all that hard work.
No, he doesn't want to be taken out late in games with the Brewers having a lead, and that's what happened a lot last year. And he wants to be able to stay in the baseball game. Maybe get that extra at-bat late.
Here's Andrew Lambeau getting the start in left field for the Pirates tonight. Lambeau entered the game last night when McCutchen came out. And they moved Marte to center field. Lambeau did not get an at-bat last night, but played last couple of innings defensively. Jimmy's got him 0-2. Down he goes. That big curveball from Nelson. That has been a beauty tonight.
Yeah, what a find that is, huh? Where's that been all these years? Oh, boy. Well, he keeps throwing them like that. Look out for Jimmy Nelson. Straight down. You can see Lambeau out in front over the top. Boy, nice pitch. Boy,
that's something. And the speed of it is 81 miles an hour, so that's about 13 to 15 miles an hour off of his fastball.
That looks hard to hit in slow motion.
Yeah. There's a few flashbacks there.
He got me.
Jung Ho Kang at the plate for the Pirates. Getting his first start. This is a little bit of history here. First Korean-born player to play for the Pirates. He's coming from the KBO, the Korean Baseball Organization, a professional league there. And he had a monster year last year in the KBO. He hit, check these numbers, Rock, in 117 games in Korea last year. He hit 356, 40 home runs.
Whoa.
117 RBIs in 117 games.
Not bad.
And his hometown is Seoul. That's a good league there. It's not quite up to the standards of the Japanese major leagues, but
that doesn't matter. You put numbers up like that. It doesn't matter how good the league is. I mean, you have to have some ability to be able to do that.
Yeah, they play in front of big crowds. Baseball is a big deal in Korea. And Nelson wipes him clean. Down he goes. Jimmy Nelson strikes out Kang, and that is number 5.
Yeah, back-to-back punch outs. That brings us to tonight's Tavern of the Game winner. It's Gern's Bar in Hartford. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. And it's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. That's out in Lake Country.
Out in Hartford. Not too far from the homestead.
I'm sure you've bellied up over there from time to time.
Like that area out there, Holy Hill, and it's nice. Aaron, I had our esteemed director Renardo Lowe out to Lake Country today.
Really?
Yeah, we showed him some of the sites. Went fishing, you know. Had a good talk.
I bet you did. Don't tell the DNR you're not allowed to fish yet.
No, we didn't fish. We only looked at a lake.
First Saturday in May.
We didn't bait the hooks. We just kind of practiced. See, you exposed me quickly. Worley out to short. Segura's got a long throw. It's a good one, and a 1-2-3 inning for Jimmy Nelson with a couple of Ks. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Great crowd on a Saturday night at Miller Park, Milwaukee. Great to have you with us. The Brewers off to a good start, scoring 3 runs in the second inning. Hey, a reminder, every weeknight, don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around is weeknights at 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Full day of big league action today. And we showed you that Red Sox-Yankees game. They played 19 last night, came back, had a day game today. Boston won that game. Quick turnaround for those guys. Saw the Cardinals beat Cincinnati today. It was, I think, one stretch. Mike Matheny used 6 pitchers to face 6 different batters at one stretch. Invoking his inner Tony La Russa early in the season.
It's amazing you have that many pitches to go to. I mean, the rest of the way, right? Oh, well.
This is the second game of this series, and for the Brewers, the second game of 22 consecutive games in the division in the National League Central. It's going to be nothing but games against the NL Central until early May. Lucroy leads off. He'll be followed by Braun, then Adam Lind. Brewers sent 7 to the plate last inning, scoring 3 runs on 3 hits. RBIs from Chris Davis and 2 ribbies from Hector Gomez.
How about the start for Adrian Gonzalez?
Man,
5 homers already?
Crazy.
Oh, man.
I mean, he is an impressive hitter with the big power. And you know, you're always thinking about Gonzalez and how he drives the ball to the opposite field. Remember in San Diego, he hit all those opposite field home runs, but they've challenged him inside. I think they're trying to see if his bat's a touch slow.
Yeah, right.
And he is killing them right now.
And they haven't even played yet tonight. What's that, in 4 games?
Yeah, they've got Kershaw tonight against the Diamondbacks. Bradley against Kershaw in that matchup. And Gonzalez in the lineup with a cool batting average of .688. 5 home runs, 7 RBIs already. Hit 3 home runs in 1 game. Consecutive at-bats, actually. Lucroy, a high fly ball to right. Corey Hart will put it away for the first out of the 3rd inning.
Hey, it's a battle of NL Central rivals Monday, April 20th through Thursday the 23rd as the Brewers and the Reds hook up for the first time of 2015. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com today.
Cincinnati lost today. The Cardinals beat them 4-1, and it was Johnny Cueto who took the loss. Skipping the off day, the ace starter for Cincinnati.
Votto's got 3 homers.
Yeah, Votto's off to a good start. Cardinals got a win from Michael Wacha today. Rosenthal his 2nd save. Votto looks different to me. We saw him in spring training. I don't know if it's, he looks leaner, and he is really swinging it.
Yeah. Well, the Reds, I think, have been looking for him to be a little bit more aggressive and drive the baseball. Well, looks like he's doing it.
Yeah. Hitting 2nd now.
Yeah.
With Cincinnati. Reds are 4-1 to start the year. Cardinals are 2-2. Cubs and Rockies later tonight. Cubs are 1-2. Colorado has not lost after they swept the Brewers. They beat the Cubs yesterday. Here's a 2-0 pitch, and Braun takes it down and in. 3 balls, no strikes. Great to have baseball back. Isn't it fun to just be able to look at the scoreboard? And it's like an old friend. Going to be there for 7 months.
Back to the days, you sit at home, you wait for 3 o'clock to come around, you jump in the car, head to the ballpark. Nothing like it.
Ryan Braun draws a 4-pitch walk. Second walk issued by Worley. And that's going to send Adam Lind to the plate. See how they work this defensively with a runner on. Pittsburgh still consistent with their shift, but it changes a little bit with a base runner, especially a speedster like Braun.
They've got him bunched up the middle. You don't see a shift like this too often. At the second baseman playing pretty much normal position, you got Harrison shaded over towards short.
I wonder if Lind would try to drop a bunt down at some point just to keep him honest. Although I'm sure the Pirates would love that.
Yeah. At least he doesn't hit it out of the ballpark, right? Drive it into the gap somewhere. Could be an interesting double play if Lind hits a ground ball to somebody. It's going to be a little unorthodox.
What a start for Adam Lind. He has 9 hits already, which ties Paul Molitor and Dave Parker most hits through the first 5 games of a Brewers career. How about that? Dave Parker, 1990.
Yeah.
As a Brewer. And a big cut and a miss. Lind trying to hit one out of here. Yeah, there you go. A lot of folks forget that Parker was a Brewer.
The hammer. We didn't mess with him.
Nine hits first 5 games with the organization. In the air to left. Lambeau will run it down for the second out. Back to first goes Braun. So 2 outs for Ramos Ramirez. His last time up after flip-flopping in the batting order by his request. Goes over the head of Starling Marte in center field. A double for Ramos.
Yeah, high cutter, and Ramirez able to bang it over the head of Marte, who plays a lot more shallow in center field than does Andrew McCutchen.
Popped him up. And that'll stay playable for Alvarez. He's got it. That will retire the side. Worley comes back with a scoreless third inning. We are through 3, and it's 3-0 Crew.
By Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Jimmy Nelson off to a great start. He has faced the minimum through with 5 strikeouts. And when asked before the game, Ron Renicky said if there would be more pressure on Nelson making this first start with the struggles of the starting rotation, he said he didn't think so because Nelson already put so much pressure on himself. He said that's part of Jimmy's makeup. He described him as an aggressive grinder, and he said that as Nelson gains more confidence in the major league level, you won't see that as much. He said certainly the stuff is good enough, he said, but in order for Nelson to maximize his potential, it's going to be about him finding a rhythm versus grinding through each start. Certainly off to a great start here, BA and Rock.
And you got to believe that, the progress that Willie Peralta has made over the last couple of years, you would figure that Willie's got to be talking to him quite a bit about that exact thing, because Willie went through it himself.
Yeah, and I've had a few conversations with Kyle Loesch as well, and Loesch and Matt Garza, they've taken Jimmy Nelson under their wing as the 2 veterans in this starting rotation. I like the fact that Scooter Gennett's spending some time with Kyle Loesch and Matt Garza. That's a good spot to be. Harrison waves and misses. Actually a foul tip into the middle of Lucroy, so a strikeout for Jimmy Nelson, who is dialed in his 6th strikeout already.
Man, that's a good slider that time. 88 miles an hour off the plate. That's what I like the most about that pitch. With 2 strikes, not throwing the ball over the plate. You don't have to with 2 strikes. And you got that 0-2, 1-2 count. Make him chase, and that's what he's been doing tonight.
Well, he looks like he is at the top of his game. The only hit was an infield hit by Francisco Cervelli, who steps in here. And he's hit by a pitch. Nelson let that one get away. That was a curveball, right?
Yeah, curveball, 81 miles an hour. That's not going to hurt too much.
So Cervelli's been the only base runner for the Pirates. He reaches for a second time.
And you see that fingernail dug into the baseball, and this one gets him. Gets him right on the side of the arm.
Yeah, he was trying to get that elbow pad in there. He's a catcher. He's tough.
That's nothing.
So Nelson back in the stretch, and in the stretch for the first time since the first inning. Facing Neil Walker. You know, Dave Parker's name came up last inning. I had forgotten that he was an all-star with the Brewers in 1990. He was 39 years of age in 1990. Made an all-star team. I was just looking at his stats that year. He drove in 92 runs at 39 years of age. There's a shot. Nelson's got it. Fired to second for 1. Segura to first and a double play. Jimmy Nelson looking like the Cobra out there. 1-6-3 double play out of the inning. Wipes out the base runner. And Big Tim's rolling along here tonight through 4.
bottom of the 4th inning. Hey, tomorrow is Rob Deere Bobblehead Day, courtesy of Toyota, as part of Spring Madness. Select seats are 50%. Plus, fans will enjoy $4 beers, $1 hot dogs and sodas, and $4 nachos. For tickets, go to Brewers.com today. Big Rooster in the house tomorrow.
Oh, I love all these nicknames. The Rooster, the Cobra.
Hope he's able to find his way here at the ballpark. You know, Robbie has a tendency to get lost.
Yeah, he needs a handler. Going to need a handler. Someone to take him from point A to point B.
I think Gumby's is responsible for getting him here.
They both need handlers. Gumby, the Cobra, the Rooster. That would be Jim Gantner, by the way. Big Spike. Rock. Chris Davis starts the bottom of the 4th. Line drive right field. That's down. Base hit. Davis on his way to second. Hart has trouble with it.
Amazing, isn't it?
And Davis rolls into second base. Had a double just like that yesterday. And has now posted 3 doubles in the last 2 games.
And everything he's hitting is going to the opposite field and being rewarded. I mean, that's a ball normally a power hitter is going to try and pull. He lets that ball get to him. Nice easy swing and tucks it inside that right field line. Hit a ground ball to second base his first time up to drive in a run and advance another base runner. And now a leadoff double to right.
Davis drove in the first run with a ground out in the second. Now has a double. The Brewers have 3 doubles already. And here is Segura. That's deep. Way back. Goodbye. Gene Segura. 2-run shot. 5-0 Milwaukee.
Sitting on a first pitch curveball or a slider, and this is where it ends up. That was right down the middle. That was actually a slider from Vance Worley, and Segura made no mistake, didn't miss this one. A line drive bullet out of here, and the Brewers now with a 5-0 lead.
Well, that was a big fly from Gene Segura. He hit just 5 home runs last year. His All-Star year of 13, he hit 12. He looked like he was going to show a little power. That was a no-doubter.
He's a different hitter this year so far than he was all year last year. Staying back better. His weight is back when he's swinging, and the results speak for themselves.
Hector Gomez, who drove in 2 with a double, part of a 3-run second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Huge hit by Gomez in that second inning. With all that has happened to start the year, Gomez comes up in his first career start as a second baseman. Wasted no time. He hit one over the head of Lambeau in left field. Such an important spot in the batting order, hitting in front of the pitcher, and Gomez drives in a pair. Segura was on the move with the pitch. He scored all the way from first on a double to left. Not easy to do. And that ball's hit pretty well left center. Coming across is Lambeau. He was playing deep, and he fetches that one for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, just a little bit off the end of the bat right there for Hector Gomez. He tried to hook that one out of the ballpark. A lot of breaking pitches from Vance Worley. Tons. Cutters and curveballs, and hasn't really been challenging the Brewers too much.
Jimmy Nelson flirting with a base hit. Foul ball. Boy, it's good to see Gene Segura back swinging the bat. He looks like his old self.
He worked hard at it. I mean, really worked hard. He and Darnell Coles concentrating on keeping his weight back. He was doing that throughout the spring and has been able to do it here in the regular season. Sometimes what you work on in spring training without the pressure, it's easy to show results, but then you get into the big stadiums, you get the 40,000 people, you go back to old habits, but Gene hasn't done that.
0-2 pitch to Nelson. Down he goes. About face. Nelson has struck out twice. Those are the only 2 strikeouts for Vance Worley. I beg your pardon. 2 of the 3 strikeouts for Worley. 2 outs in the inning. Back to the top. Here's Carlos Gomez. Carlos is 0 for 2. And a pop up for an out his first time up, and a sharply hit ground out to short in the second inning. I was looking at Gene Segura's game log from last year, and he went from June 20th to September 26th between home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, 3-month drought essentially. Hit 2 home runs. Remember that game in Colorado? He went deep twice.
Yep.
Didn't homer again until the last week of the season, 3rd to last game of the season, as a matter of fact.
Just wasn't driving the ball like he did his rookie season. Out on his front foot, and when you do that, you lose a lot of your power.
Gomez will send Hart back, and that will retire the side. But the Brewers are banging away here tonight. Gene Segura with his first home run of the season, a 2-run blast, and it's 5-0 Brew Crew. Run homer. We got soccer coming up Wednesday. International showdown. The U.S. men's national team taking on Mexico. Americans trying to extend a 4-year unbeaten streak against their historic rivals. The Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas is the site. It is sold out. Coverage begins Wednesday at 7:30 Central, only on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Here at Miller Park, Milwaukee. The Brewers lead the Pirates 5-0. Jimmy Nelson working on a 1-hitter through the first 4 innings with 6 punch-outs. Starling Marte leads off for the Buccos, followed by Alvarez and then Corey Hart. Nelson coming off a 6-pitch 4th inning. Got a 1-6-3 double play to end the inning. So far, so good for Milwaukee, in desperate need of a game like this. Let's see if they can play the second half of the game as good as they played the first half.
Well, he talked about a quick start for Jimmy Nelson. We were also talking about how important it was for the Brewers to get him some runs early on, and both things have happened so far. Long way to go, though, tonight.
3-0 is the count. There's a strike to Marte, who gets a call in center field tonight. If you're just joining us, Andrew McCutchen is out. Not sure if he's going to play tomorrow. He's hobbled by a left knee injury. And ball 4. Jimmy issues his first walk of the game. And that'll lead us to our Carsoup.com trivia. Which 3 players have hit at least 90 homers at Miller Park? At least 90 home runs. There have been 3 to do it. That might be a good guess right there. I believe 2 are in the building tonight.
Right.
My math serves me correct. Pedro Alvarez. And now Nelson showing some wildness here in this 5th inning. Lucroy is on his way out for a chat.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing Lucroy can do for Jimmy Nelson tonight is going to be a counselor back there, slow him down, and make sure he's in control of his emotions out there. And he's been doing that so far in the first 4 innings. Rough start to the 5th, though.
Alvarez bounced out to first his last time up. Nelson fell behind him 3-1 in that at bat. Came back to get him. Marte starts, then stops, and Nelson misses again. 2-0. One of the things Nelson is trying to do better now that he has a spot in the rotation, is self-correct. That's a key for any young pitcher. Standing on the mound feels like you're on an island out there sometimes, but to be able to settle it down, try to get back to your mechanics.
Sometimes they are going to get out of sync a little bit throughout the course of a game. You just got to step back and have a little meeting with yourself and get back to what got you to the big leagues. 3-0 now to Alvarez.
Yeah, so 2 poor at bats to start the inning. Let's see if Jimmy can come back. Alvarez will swing in a 3-0 count. Not sure he would here in a 5-0 deficit, but he's been known to have the green light. 3-0. There's a strike.
Man, you got to be careful with this guy. He can hit the fastball without doubt. I mean, one of the better fastball hitters in the league. Got the count in his favor. You know he's going to be sitting on one here.
We'll see if he can get a ground ball out of him. Turn this one quickly. Marte's got a good lead at first. There he goes. Alvarez takes ball 4. Back-to-back walks. And Nelson's going to have to go back to the drawing board. Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, on his way out.
Yeah, maybe rushing himself just a little bit. Rick Kranitz is going to get him back to the way he was in the first 4 innings. It was nice and easy.
Well, Nelson cruising along through the first 4 innings, had only allowed an infield hit and a hit batter. 6 strikeouts as well, and all the other outs on the ground.
Yeah, it's such a fine line between your good delivery and when you get out of sync. Something minuscule can get pitches out of the strike zone.
Grounded to third. Ramirez steps on the bag across the diamond for a double play.
Way to go, Cranny.
That's how you do it. Make a trip to the mound and get a double play ball on the next pitch.
Well, you walk 2 guys in front of you, swing the first pitch and ground into a double play. Thank you very much. Nice job of smothering that one by Ramirez. Actually caught that one in his body. Taking a bad hop, stepping on the bag, and Corey Hart not running all that great these days. An easy double play. You got to wonder why you swing on the first pitch after these pitchers walk 2 guys in front of you.
That is a big lift for Nelson. So 2 away, runner at second. And here is Andrew Lambeau. Pirates have 2 lefties in their lineup and a switch hitter. So Jimmy sees 3 left-handed batters. Lambeau was a strikeout victim in the 3rd inning. That's the other part of the repertoire of Nelson. Now that he's added that slow curveball, it gives him a weapon against a left-handed batter.
It's not a bad weapon against righties, too. That's been a nice pitch for him. He's throwing more curveballs and sliders tonight.
Pedro Alvarez at second. Here's a 1-1 by him at 92.
I don't think this curveball was on any scouting report the Pirates had on Jimmy Nelson.
Well, if they had watched the Brewers spring training telecast, it would have. Shame on them. I mean, you were on it from day one.
We were talking about it every game he pitched, right?
I thought it was some of your best analysis of our spring training telecast.
Yeah, hey, there's a curveball.
Excellent point, Rock. There's that curveball, misses low.
And you would think that he'd be fooling the Pirates because he's never had it before, but he's never faced any of these Pirates hitters before. Well, ordinarily, pitcher's going to have an early advantage.
First of many outings against the division rival Pittsburgh Pirates, you would think. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the 5th. In the air to left, playable for Chris Davis. And what a comeback inning for Jimmy Nelson. He walked the first 2 batters, a key double play off the bat of Hart, and he puts up another 0.
By Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, the Brewers with a 5-0 lead here in the 5th. And this season, the Milwaukee Brewers are launching the Strikeout Bullying Essay Contest. Students from the greater Milwaukee area are asked to submit a 1-page essay about what their school is doing to strike out bullying. On Monday, May 11th, the winning participant school will be awarded a visit from Brewers players and personnel, along with Brewers apparel, game tickets, and transportation to and from Miller Park. The student with the winning essay will throw out the ceremonial first pitch at that night's game. You can learn more about the contest at brewers.com/beyondthediamond.
All right, Sophia, thanks. That sets us up for the bottom of the 5th as Lucroy will lead off. 2, 3, and 4 coming up against Vance Worley, and the Brewers up 5-0. A 3-run second, a 2-run homer by Segura in the 4th, and it was a bomb.
Yes, it was.
They got that one measured at 440 feet.
A first pitch knocked it out of here.
Brewers are getting great work from the bottom of their order here tonight. Hector Gomez, the 8th place hitter, a 2 RBI double in that 3-run second. Segura batting 7th with the 2-run homer. He's been on twice, scored twice. And Chris Davis, the 6th place hitter, with a double and a run scored and an RBI as well. Lucroy, a line shot right at Neil Walker for the first out.
That's the way it goes when you're not getting hits. Hey, with kids and seniors discount days, kids 14 and under and seniors 60 and over, save 50% on tickets on midweek day games. For the complete list of kids and senior discount days, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com/fan values. I'm getting there, you know. Seniors 60 and over.
How many years you got?
56. We got 4 left.
Got a big birthday bonanza planned for September this year. Gonna be gonna have some zoo animals and balloons and have a clown.
You keep saying that, but you never do it. I'd love it. But not the clowns. You can forget the clowns.
Braun on the ground. Harrison scoops it up, and there are 2 outs in the 5th. Speaking of milestones, I saw where the official scorer Tim O'Driscoll is celebrating his 2,000th game as an official scorer. That's a pretty impressive.
Yeah,
2,000 games as an official scorer. Congratulations to Coach O'Driscoll. There's Tim. Longtime coach of Arrowhead High School baseball.
One of the best official scorers that we run across. Fair. Sometimes the players don't agree with some of his decisions, but it's fair. I mean, some of the stuff that we see on the road, homers the calls that they make.
No balls and a strike on Adam Lind. He pulls it. That is gloved by Alvarez. And Lind is retired. That's a 7-pitch inning for Vance Worley. Brewers go quietly in the 5th, but they lead it 5-0. Today. Still a little cool, though, to open up the roof. Temperatures in the 50s out there. Jimmy Nelson's rolling along. He has allowed 1 hit. That was an infield hit in the 1st inning. He's given up 2 walks, and he's hit a batter. He walked back-to-back hitters last inning, got a double play and a fly ball to left to end it, however. So a shutout through 5 on a 1-hitter. 6 strikeouts for Jimmy Nelson.
Pitch count in great shape, 61 pitches.
Pirates have their 8th place hitter, Jung Ho Gung, leading off. Oh, defensive hack there.
His last start against the Indians in spring training. Jimmy was able to get his pitch count up to 90.
Now Lucroy's been good for Nelson tonight. Timely visit to the mound, and then ultimately Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, came to the mound right before that double play ball last inning.
And he realized very early that he had a good curveball tonight. He's been calling quite a bit. Throwing the curveball sign down a lot. Why wouldn't you, right? Jimmy's velocity, not what we saw of it last year. I mean, he was throwing 95, 97. Tonight it's more like 91, 93. But look at the results, right?
Yeah, good cruising speed. A lot of movement on his fastball.
You don't have to throw 97 when you have a curveball like he's been throwing tonight.
Going with the heat here, and down goes Gong. Wow.
Two-seamer, 93.
That one dove down in the strike zone, and another strikeout for Nelson, number 7.
Well, if an outing like this isn't going to get you confidence, I don't know what will. That is a nasty pitch. That's like Maddox-esque. The movement there, but with 93 miles an hour behind it.
Here's Worley. Pirates pitcher will bat here in the 6th inning. Now Nelson has thrown everything well, everything in his repertoire tonight he has had command of. Well, it gives you a lot of hope. Nobody wants it more than Jimmy Nelson. The organization is hopeful that he can emerge as a front of the rotation type pitcher, he and Willie Peralta, but Nelson is about as driven as there is. Kranitz with the pitch counter in his hand. Worley pops this up. See if it stays playable. Ramirez will give it a look at the rail. He's got it. Just on top of Andrew McCutchen. Ramirez puts it away for the 2nd out.
Well, let's check out the grips for Jimmy Nelson. You can see the fastball. He'll throw a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer. The 2-seamer is with the seams. The curveball that we're talking about, the spike curveball, digs that fingernail of his index finger into the baseball to get that extra spin, and the slider. So pretty standard grips except for that curveball. I mean, that spike curveball is becoming more popular each year. That's a good pitch. He starts out Josh Harrison with the curveball.
And what are the miles per hour on those pitches? That curveball came in at 82.
81, 82, 83 miles an hour with the curveball. Fastball up to 93 today, as we talked about. I mean, his cruising speed last year was about mid-90s, 95, 96. But didn't have the good breaking pitch. I think that's a good trade-off.
Ball and a strike on Josh Harrison. In the air to right. Pretty well hit. Braun easing back. And he's got it. And Jimmy Nelson rolling here. 6 shutout. He has tied a career high with 7 strikeouts. Aramis Ramirez doubling a run scored in the 2nd. He'll lead off. Brewers have the punch tonight coming up. sausage race between innings. We had a little situation here. Watch the Italian. Cervelli. Whoa, look out.
I mean, why would Cervelli, of all people, interfere with the Italian?
I couldn't agree more. Cervelli disrupted the race. We have a situation. You know, the sausage race, the sausages, they're famous because of the Pirates.
Right.
Randall Simon.
Yeah.
Took the bat to the.
I think it took them to the next level.
They've
always been famous.
They were locally famous.
Right.
Then they became nationally famous because of the Pirates. We thank the Pirates. So does Clemens. Vance Worley back to work. Aramis Ramirez leads off. And that one's on the ground to short. Gunn will make the play. Ramirez 1 out of 3. And that'll bring up Chris Davis.
I was trying to make it funny with Cervelli interrupting the Italian, but he's actually from Venezuela.
Well, he likes Italian food.
Well, he knew the pun I was trying to put together, but didn't work. I should have looked it up first. It made no sense.
You're a tremendous slouch.
I know. It's early.
Davis, after an RBI ground out in the second inning, first RBI of the game for the Brewers. He had a double and a run scored in the fourth inning.
You can see where I can make that mistake, right?
Oh, sure. You're taking it too hard. I think
feel
he's
bad.
fine with it.
I feel bad.
Well, you owned it. You apologize, and we move on.
No, I didn't apologize. I just said I was wrong.
Well, that's huge. That never happens. Better mark that down.
Well, I'm wrong quite a bit.
Only Kate Schroeder can vouch for you saying you're wrong. I think she's the only one that gets that.
That's my middle name at home.
Davis has worked the count in his favor, 3-1. And he swings and rolls one to Gung. Out number 2, a couple of 6-3 ground outs for Vance Worley here in the 6th. Well, Gene Segura, he has been a star tonight. Both sides of the ball. A shining moment brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. A blast out of here.
Yep, a first pitch cut fastball that was right down the middle of the plate. And that's about as far as you'll see Gene Segura hit a baseball.
First home run of the season, a 2-run home run. Made it 5-0, and that's where we sit. Matter of fact, that's the last hit the Brewers have had against Worley. Segura walked and scored in the second, and that 2-run home run in the fourth. Segura has started the season with 6 hits in his first 14 at-bats. He's got a couple of walks, including one tonight. Well, he needed that kind of start. Subtle changes in his swing at the plate, in his approach at the plate. Boy, Worley makes quick work of him. A strikeout, 1-2-3 inning for Worley. He has retired 9 straight, but Jimmy Nelson is the headliner thus far. 7 Ks, working on a 1-hit shutout through 6. We head to the 7th at Miller Park. you to vote for your MVP and help us decide which Fox Sports supports partner will be crowned the winner, and a big donation from Hupy and Abraham SC. Choose from American Heart Association of Wisconsin, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Milwaukee, or Fisher House, Wisconsin. To vote, visit foxsportswisconsin.com/supports. Great cause. Good to be partnered up with Hupy and Abraham. Jimmy Nelson returns to the mound, working on a shutout. 7th inning. His pitch count is at 71. He is in great shape. Got a chance to even finish this game if he continues on this pace. Won't see the Brewers let him go much over 90, but if he's cruising along, you might see him get to 100 pitches. Only hit of the game, an infield hit by Cervelli, who leads off.
Look at that curveball.
Wow.
Boy, I mean, talking about a pitch he just picked up in the offseason, it could be that good this early in the season. There's that spike curveball going straight down with something on it. A nice sharp break to it.
Getting some great looks at his pitches tonight from our terrific crew. There's another one. Defensive swing. Nelson has just set a career high for strikeouts. That is number 8.
Wait, how many of those defensive swings have we seen? Wow. That is just nasty. You have that big curveball, you got the slider to go with it, and that tailing fastball, that power sinker.
One away for Neil Walker. Bounced into a double play. Last time up, it was a ground ball back to Nelson. Nelson has gotten 2 double plays in this game. That Corey Hart double play was huge. That was in the 5th inning. Nelson had walked the first 2 hitters, and then Hart on the first pitch swung away and hit one over to third. Ended up as a 5-3 double play. Pirates have had 4 base runners. 2 of them eliminated with the double play, and the other was caught stealing. So they've only stranded 1 batter, or 1 base runner, I should say.
Well, that well-timed visit to the mound by Rick Kranitz looked like things were kind of unraveling for Nelson in the 5th. Back-to-back walks, but got out of that mess very quickly. Double play and a fly ball.
No balls, 2 strikes on Walker. Tried to curveball again.
That's what we're talking about. When you get yourself in trouble, you're able to relax and you go back to what you've been doing all night. And he was able to do that and get out of the inning.
Here's a 1-2. Walker on the ground. Nice and easy for Ramirez. 2 up, 2 down. That Jimmy Nelson curveball has been impressive.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where he holds it on the laces, but what you do is you get your index finger, the fingernail, and you dig it into the seams. And what you do is you get a little good pressure on that seam, and you're able to snap that thing off. You have a little bit more spin as it comes out of your hand, and that's what Jimmy Nelson's doing. We have to find out how he holds it on the seams. Every pitcher is a little bit different.
So it just clears that index finger, and that's where all that rotation comes, I guess. Huh?
And the middle finger is one that gives you all the rotation, but the sticking the fingernail into the seams helps you as well.
So what's the difference between that and a conventional curveball grip?
Well, you're not sticking the fingernail in the seams. You just have your 2 fingers, along the seams on the side, so you can get some good snap to it. Some pitchers just can't throw the spike curveball.
Another ground ball. That's going to sneak through, though. Starling Marte with the first hit for the Pirates since the 1st inning. A 2-out single for Marte, who's been on twice tonight. And a base runner with 2 away for Pedro Alvarez.
First of all, to throw that spike curveball, you got to big hands.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm on the kind of on the edge. It's kind of an uncomfortable grip for me. You have to have big hands so it's comfortable to stick your fingernail into that seam and have it work properly.
Yeah, and that's one thing Jimmy said when he picked it up, started toying with it this offseason. It felt comfortable from the start. So obviously his fingers are limber enough. He's got enough reach on those fingers to be able to do that. I mean, if everybody could do it, they would. It's such an effective pitch. And then to try to command that pitch with just basically one finger on the ball, your middle finger.
And you really have to be relaxed out there on the mound and with your delivery to be able to throw that as effectively as he has tonight. I mean, that's the most impressive thing. Everybody talking about how worked up he gets out there in the mound, but he has been under control all night. Why wouldn't you? He's been throwing the baseball well. The team's got him some runs. Perfect scenario so far. He's not done yet, though.
2 outs. Alvarez at the plate, and he drops one in for a strike.
Play a changeup that time. Haven't seen too many of those tonight.
Oh. Well, he has been up and down the spectrum of velocity, as high as 94. He's on that curveball as low as 81, and all points in between. See what he does here. 1-2. Curveball. Alvarez doesn't bite. Put it in a good spot, though. Lucroy blocks it well.
And we have a guy throwing a big curveball like that going in. Not sure. I don't think Lucroy was even sure how many curveballs he was going to call tonight. He realized it was a good pitch for him early, and he just keeps calling it.
Two. Runner at first. And the count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Brewers have some activity in their bullpen now. Nelson's pitch count at 86. Jeremy Jeffress is the right-hander. Will Smith is the left-hander. Lee Tunnell, the bullpen coach, keeping track. Full count. There goes the runner, and Alvarez fouls it away. Marte had a 2-out single. Long at bat here against Alvarez. Jimmy Nelson spot in the batting order is due up second in the bottom of the 7th. Not really worried about the score, but young pitcher needing some confidence. This could be his last inning. Wow, there it is. The curveball has been the story. The spike curveball of Jimmy Nelson. 9 strikeouts, a new career high.
Hotel and Casino. A great game for the Brewers, and Bernie Brewer, of course, having a good time. But Hector Gomez getting the start at second base today, leading off this inning in place of Scooter Gennett. And he told me before the game that having such little experience in the utility player role, that he's turned to veterans like Aramis Ramirez and Ryan Braun on how to stay ready in that role. So aside from all the work before the game with early batting practice, infield, even some outfield work some days, he said those guys have told him that the process really starts once the game gets going in the third inning, starting to get loose, starting to warm up, going into the cage. He said that's the biggest thing that they've stressed to him, is just staying loose, staying ready, preparing for any scenario, because he said you just never know. It could be a double switch, a short start when he may be called upon. Already a double for him today.
Gomez, that double and 2 RBIs that he delivered in the second inning, that goes a long way. Those are some good memories to have the manager and the coaching staff think about, because as hard as it is to make it to the big leagues as a utility infielder, it's tough to stay. And he's got a couple of hits tonight. Hector Gomez on his way to second with another double. Well, good for him.
Yep.
Hector Gomez 2 for 3. Even his out was a line drive out. Couple of 2-baggers tonight, Rock.
Swinging with a lot of aggressive confidence right here. Here's that fastball from Worley, left it out over the plate. It was supposed to be on the inside corner, and Gomez just turns on it. That's a dangerous spot to pitch to Hector Gomez, that fastball in. He likes it in there, and he whistles that one down the line.
Well, they had Gennett in the on-deck circle to pinch hit. It's instead going to be Logan Schaefer. So Jimmy Nelson's night is over, and what a night it was. 7 shutout innings, a 2-hitter, and a career-high 9 strikeouts.
The pitch count was what, around 90? It was close anyway.
What a great start for Jimmy Nelson. That'll set him up well for his second start, which will be against the Pirates again. Schaefer drops a bunt down. Worley goes to first, his only play.
Yeah, that's why they put Logan Schaefer up there. They knew what they were going to do. They're going to advance the base runner, and Logan able to get it done.
Sacrifice bunt, advancing Gomez. And to the top of the order, here is Gomez. Renicky knowing the importance of a tack-on run late in this game. It's going to force the Pirates infield in. Gomez is 0 for 3. Got a chance at a ribby here. Lucroy on deck. And that's plenty deep. That is way back there, right center. One hopper off the fence. Hector scores. Carlos at second with an RBI double. 6-0 Milwaukee as Gomez drives in his third. And his second double of the season.
That ball down and in, and normally a ball that you might see Gomez try and pull, but he pulls the hands in nicely, not trying to pull the baseball. And with that high finish, one hops the wall out there in center field. Well, that ball was hit hard. Brewers' approach has been very good tonight. A lot of opposite field hits. Brewers able to make a lot of contact, putting the ball in play.
5 doubles and a home run tonight for the Brew Crew. 6 extra base hits of their 7 in the game. Only single was Adam Lynn's single in the second inning. Brewers needed a night like this in a big way. So Lucroy now with 1 away. Carlos Gomez at second. And looks like Hurdle is going to come out here and make a double switch. So the end of the line for Vance Worley. Crew chief Dana DeMuth gets the changes from the Pirates skipper. We'll take a break, come back and set them up for you. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. 6-0 Brew Crew. They lead division rival Pittsburgh tonight. We play in the home seventh, a pitching change here. And a double switch for Clint Hurdle. Rob Scahill is the new pitcher coming to the Pirates from the Colorado Rockies. He's an Illinois native.
I mean, he's bounced between AAA and the big leagues with Colorado each of the last 3 years before coming over to Pittsburgh. There you see his numbers last year. 12 games at .480 earned run average. A double switch for Clint Hurdle puts Corey Hart at first base and Sean Rodriguez out in right.
Puts Sean Rodriguez in the 9 spot in the batting order, due up fourth in the 8th inning. And there's Hart at first. 6 runs on 7 Brewers hits, and 6 of those 7 hits have been extra base hits. A run is in here in the 7th on a Carlos Gomez RBI double, driving in Hector Gomez, who has 2 hits tonight. And it'll be Lucroy now against Scahill to try to add to it.
And finally it's the Brewers hitting the doubles.
Well, the Brewers had surrendered 20 doubles in the first 4 games to the opponent. Good to turn the tables.
Yep.
Lucroy tonight has hit the ball sharply a couple of times. He's 0 for 3. Hardest hit ball for him was his last time up. Hit a line drive right to Neil Walker at second. Pirates have made a change in their starting rotation. Instead of getting ace Francisco Liriano tomorrow, Liriano is going to be away from the ball club. The birth of his daughter. Pirates are going to go with Casey Sadler, who is a right-hander. I think Renicky, just talking to the manager, one of his thoughts was he would have Lucroy play first base tomorrow against a tough lefty, give Adam Lind a day off, but that might change now.
Yeah, at first look, it looks as though the Brewers took him a break, but you never know with Sadler making a start. You never want to say the Brewers would rather face Sadler than Liriano. But on paper, not bad to be missing that lefty.
Francisco Cervelli is on his way to the Pirates dugout. Cervelli has dealt with concussion problems in the past. I think he just has a mask problem this time. Take another look on the foul ball from Lucroy. Yeah. They have broken off a buckle on that mask. Glad he's smiling, though. He's really had a tough time with concussions in his career, and it set him back a great deal with the Yankees. So those come more frequently the more you have. And
I'd say if you've ever been hit by a foul tip, you know what that feels like, and it's amazing that more catchers don't deal with that.
Well, he's ready to go. Lucroy in a 2-1 count. Gomez at second with a huge lead. And Lucroy sends one foul out in the seats. Can't say enough about Jimmy Nelson tonight. 7 shutout, career high 9 strikeouts.
Very impressive, and you got to tip your hat to Jonathan Lucroy, the way he was able to identify the fact that he had a great curveball tonight and to just continue to call it and get a lot of outs with that pitch.
Lucroy on the ground. Harrison's got it, and the throw is in time. Gomez does advance, but now there are 2 outs for Ryan Braun.
I think Luke's going to start talking to himself here pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a tough go for him. Just one hit so far this year. That was a triple yesterday. You know he's going to hit, though, but you hate to get so deep in a hole to start the year with your batting average.
Yeah, you might see Luke probably get a day off. You got to get Maldonado into a game at some point. I mean, there's two sides to that story. You give Luke maybe a day to kind of sit back and shake it off a little bit and give Maldonado a chance to play.
Here's Braun trying to add to the lead. 6-0 Crew, 2 outs here in the 7th, and right off the end of the bat. Brewers have 6 runs on 7 hits, and Lucroy and Braun are hitless tonight. Getting a lot of production from the bottom of the order. Adam Lind has another hit tonight. Has 9 hits already in the first 5 games of the year. Ramirez had a double. RBIs from Davis and 2-run homer from Segura. Hector Gomez drove in a pair. Carlos just drove in a run in this 7th inning. Shattered bat. Gonna be a tough play. Harrison coming in. Fires to first in time to get the speedy Braun. Good play by Harrison. Inning is over. And it was the Gomez's in the 7th. Hector with a double. Carlos drives him in. 6-0 Milwaukee after 7. At Miller Park, great crowd on a Saturday night. And the new pitcher is Will Smith, the big lefty who led the National League in appearances last year.
Yeah, last pitched on Monday against the Rockies. That was opening day. Tossed a 3-up, 3-down 8th inning and had a couple of strikeouts. A .370 earned run average with 1 save and a career high 78 relief appearances. Making appearance number 2 here tonight.
Carsoup.com trivia tonight. Which 3 players have hit at least 90 homers at Miller Park? Well, I think 2 of them are in the ballpark tonight. Let's see the answer. Prince Fielder has the most. Ryan Braun with 121. Corey Hart with 94 career home runs at Miller Park. Now, Ryan Braun, by the way, his next home run will move him into 2nd place by himself. He's currently tied with Prince Fielder for the most home runs in franchise history. Robin Yount is the current leader. Braun has a chance to catch the kid this season with a good year. Robin Yount is at 251 career home runs to lead the franchise. And Ryan Braun is currently at 230, tied with Fielder.
Wonder how many homers Robin would have had if he hit here at Miller Park instead of County Stadium.
How many you figure? Nobody can challenge you. Go ahead and throw it out.
I'm just saying, a lot
300?
better of a home run hitting ball. I don't know.
He might have been able to hit 900 home runs here. Long career. Robin actually had a lot to do with some of the design features of this ballpark. Some of the outfield features, specifically in left center and right center, that angled wall out there, to allow for some triples. Corey Hart lines one to Segura. He dropped the ball. Hart stopped. The throw is in time.
There you go.
Still getting out.
Almost had it in there long enough to get the out. Not quite. Right in the webbing of the glove. Comes down when he pulls it to the body, but Corey Hart stopped running. Able to get it by a couple of steps.
Checking that glove for holes.
Just your normal 6-3 put out.
No problem. One away here in this 8th inning. Will Smith facing Andrew Lambeau now. Yeah, Robin was consulted by Bud Selig and the design team of Miller Park to try to add a little offense, and he always felt the most exciting play in baseball is a triple. And right there, those angled walls going back to center field. If you don't know how to play them as a center fielder, they can sneak right by you. Typically, you'll see visiting teams who come in here, center fielders that haven't played here much. They'll spend a lot of time with those little angles on that wall. Doesn't look like much, but there's a lot of baseballs that end up in that direction.
Yeah, you get too close to that wall, you're in big trouble, especially when you're down in those corners. Ball can roll forever.
A Robin Yount statue out in front. 4 statues out there. Robin Yount, Hank Aaron, Bud Selig, and Bob Uecker. Boy, what a pitch. Nasty breaking ball from Smith. Picks up the strikeout, and no match was Lambeau with the left-hander on the mound.
Yeah, that's almost unhittable for a left-handed batter, particularly when you put it down there. That's the Will Smith slider that we saw in the first half last year. First year working strictly out of the bullpen. His appearances started to rack up on him. I think he tired a bit.
Yeah, first half much better than his second half. Dong on the ground to Segura. One shortstop to another. 1-2-3 inning for Will Smith. Nicely done. Brewers are getting great pitching tonight.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Happy crowd of 41,000 plus watching the Brewers pitch a shutout over the Pirates so far in this game. We're getting set for Brewers Line postgame on the way, but I'll tell you what, talk about what Jimmy Nelson's been able to do tonight, Davey.
Well, that was just what the doctor ordered. I mean, and it starts with pitching, and Jimmy Nelson was on the top of his game, and that newfound curveball was just outstanding. You heard BA and Rock talk about it all during the ball game, and what a nice job that he did. But for me, his location was outstanding, and his pitch selection was very good. So, you know, he didn't walk two guys, but struck out 9.
Save some of that colorful commentary for Brewers Line postgame. We're going to be talking more about what Nelson was able to do, a career-high 9 strikeouts, and he has put his team in position to get win number 1 in 2015. Plenty of reaction coming from the team as well, Brian.
All right, Craig and Davey, thanks. Jimmy with his first April start in the major leagues. Just as dominant here as he was in AAA last year, the month of April. 6-0 Milwaukee. Adam Lind leads off in the cleanup spot tonight. 1 out of 3. Started the 3-run rally in the second with a single. Lind coming to the Brewers from the Blue Jays. Marco Estrada traded to Toronto for Adam Lind. Nice offseason pickup. It's been a revolving door of first baseman since Prince Fielder left. Corey Hart's been on that list. He played a little first base.
Well, hopefully Adam Lind's going to be the answer. Early returns are pretty good.
And there for a strike. Rob Scahill continues on here. Brewers have Jonathan Broxton loosening in the bullpen for the Pittsburgh 9th inning. Will Smith was impressive. 3 up, 3 down with a K. Following up Jimmy Nelson. There's Broxton. Brewer pitchers have 10 strikeouts tonight, only 2 walks. Full count to Lind. Center field, well hit. Marte going back at the track. He's got it for the out. Just missed it on the bat by a touch. Check out our Powerball home run leaderboard from last year. Adam Lind hoping to put his name at the top of the list. He certainly could. Gomez led the club with 23. Davis had 22 in his first full season in the big leagues. Career high for Davis. Ramos Ramirez with 1 away. The big inning tonight was the 3rd. Things were not going well the first 4 games of the year. Brewers go 1, 2, 3 in the first. And then Lind singled, Ramirez doubled. Brewers were off and running. Key hit by Hector Gomez in that second inning, a 2 RBI double to cap off the 3-run second inning.
Yeah, that right after it looked like Willie was pitching around Gene Segura just a little bit. He got down in the count 3-0, ended up drawing a walk, and then Gomez jumped on him early. That was the hit of the game for me.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
If there was such a thing as a big money moment, that seems like the one.
Oh, there is one.
I know. If only we had such a thing.
No, that's not the big money moment. You don't have anything to say about that one.
Ramirez strikes out.
Unless you want to be a participant in it.
Well, you know, I was thinking about maybe offering my assistance. Read the card, Rock.
Yeah, there's still one more day of Spring Madness. Select tickets for tomorrow's game against the Pirates are 50% off. Plus fans that enjoy $4 beers, $1 hot dogs and sodas, and $4 nachos. For tickets, go to brewers.com/madness. You know, we can have a guest appearance, you know, if you want to.
There's not enough seats out there.
Get in there. Well, there's that little one. I sat in that little one on opening day.
Oh, yeah, well, that's big people are okay in little seats.
I'll sit in it. I'm going to make it easy on you.
Chris Davis with 2 away. Well, we're looking forward to that tonight. You might have already tipped your hand, though.
You got to know what the big money moment is tonight.
The thing about that inning, you know, Worley's sitting there with a run in, but a chance to get out of the inning. If he gets Hector Gomez there, he's got Nelson coming up next. That's a green light to the end of the inning. With just one run, and you never know what happens. That's why that double by Hector was huge in this game, just for all that it comes with.
I bet that relaxed Jimmy Nelson quite a bit. You know, thinking that, you know, one pitch isn't going to cost him a game and have some runs to work with.
Hopefully the worm has turned for the Brewers. They can get going a little bit.
Need 3 more outs. Put this one in the books.
There's a called strike 3. Davis is out. 1-2-3 inning for Scahill, who retires 5 in a row, and it'll be up to Jonathan Broxton to take us home. Plenty of stars tonight for the Brew Crew. They lead 6-0 as we go to the top of the 9th inning and 3 outs away from the first win of 2015. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Tomorrow we're on the air at 12:30. Kyle Loesch, the opening day starter, back up. Been a long wait for him. And instead of Francisco Liriano, who has returned to Pittsburgh to be with his wife, who's having a baby daughter, Casey Sadler will get his first major league start tomorrow, a right-hander.
Yeah, how bad does Kyle Loesch want to get back out on that mound? Rough opening day start as Jonathan Broxton appears for the 3rd time this year. His numbers from a year ago.
Sean Rodriguez batting for the first time. Stay tuned. Brewers Live following the game. Sophia will have interviews. Plenty to choose from tonight. Craig and Davey will take you through all the highlights, analysis, post-game sound. You'll hear from the manager, Ron Renicky. Set you up for tomorrow. Final game of the series. Brewers are 3 outs away from putting themselves in a position at a series win. Broxton, another guy happy to get back on the mound after giving up a 2-run home run to Carlos Gonzalez on Wednesday. The Brewers setup man. He'll set up for Francisco Rodriguez. Francisco Rodriguez. Sean Rodriguez strikes out for the first out of the inning. Another K for Brewers pitching. That is 11. Luis Jimenez finishing off the game at third base. Excellent glove man over at third. Might see him get in the lineup tomorrow. Josh Harrison with one away.
Yeah, Jonathan Broxton, he's got that velocity at 93 miles an hour, which is down from his heyday, but good to see him throwing a lot of breaking pitches. We didn't see too many last year when he came over from the Reds. Good slider he's been able to throw so far this year. Avoided that pitch a little bit last year, late in the year.
Well, he never said as much. That one was in there at 95.
One of his best heaters.
He never said as much, but you know, typically when pitchers who throw a lot of sliders and rely on a slider, when they stop throwing it, usually means they're protecting something, some kind of tightness or injury. Broxton comes back this year healthy and strong, and thought he was going to be the Brewers closer. The Brewers didn't sign K-Rod until late. They'd already opened up spring training, but Broxton's okay with it. He said, I'm fine. I just want to help the club, and not the cliche version of that. He means it. He's a pretty quiet guy anyway. He did begin the season last season as the closer in Cincinnati when Aroldis Chapman was on the DL. Moved back into that setup role.
Yeah, back in his days with the Dodgers, he was getting his fastball up there, 98, 99 miles an hour.
Was an all-star twice as a Dodger. As a Dodger closer. There's a good slider again. 1-2 on Harrison. Brewers trying to post a shutout. It would be the first shutout at Miller Park since June 1st of last season. That was the day Loesch shut out the Cubs. Been a while since we've seen a 0 on the board at Miller Park. Milwaukee did have a shutout against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh September 20th of last year. And the last shutout overall was Loesch again as the winner when he helped shut out the Reds September 24th. So those are the shutout superlatives. Looking for the first of the year to seal up the first win of the season. Fouled that one off his foot.
That's a tough foul. I mean, you don't see too often Josh Harrison in 2 games of a series strike out as much as he has. He's punched out 5 times in 2 games. And he doesn't strike out a whole lot.
Nelson struck him out twice. 2 of his 9 Ks. Only 2 hits tonight, both singles. One of them an infield single. Popped him up. Fly ball to Ryan Braun. The second out. And the Brewers are an out away from a 0. The last major league team without a win, Milwaukee. Great crowd on hand tonight. Expecting a sellout tomorrow. Rob Deere bobblehead day tomorrow. And they're on their feet. Cervelli. Last call for the Pirates. An out away from the 3rd career win for Jimmy Nelson in the big leagues. And Jimmy's second career win at Miller Park.
Yeah, Lucroy just got nailed by the bat on the backswing. As if it hasn't been a frustrating enough start for Lucroy.
One ball, one strike. Broxton trying to finish it off here. And Cervelli takes 2-1. Cervelli had the infield hit in the first inning. Little roller in the hole between third and short. He was caught stealing to make it a 3-batter inning in that first. That's how the inning ended, as a matter of fact. Pirates have had 5 base runners. 3 of them eliminated off the base paths. 2 double plays and that caught stealing. They stranded 2. Had a man on second base just once tonight. That key 5th inning for Nelson when he walked the first 2, but got a double play to get out of it. Down to the last strike. Crowd on its feet. Full count. Payoff coming from Broxton. And a grounder right back to him. Broxton will flip it to first, and the Brewers win. First win of 2015 for Ron Renicky and the Brew Crew. Segura with a 2-run homer. Gomez driving in a pair with a double. And Jimmy Nelson picks up his first win of the season in his first start, and a career-high 9 strikeouts. Heck of a day today. The Brewers win and finally enter into the win column. Time now for Brewers Live. Plenty of interviews coming up. Let's send it out to Craig Kashawn. What do you have for us, Craig?
Boy, we've been waiting